Hi guys, thank you so much for joining this 7 days class. My name is Samuel Linus and I'm super excited to have you here. At NEDI, we are a peer-to-peer edtech platform that allow people to learn in peers, groups, and communities. It simply means that gone are those days when you'll be learning alone and you have questions to ask, but nobody to ask questions. You wish you're a part of a community. You wish you have a mentor. You wish you have a learning mate, somebody you guys can learn and grow with. But unfortunately, you're learning online, so there is no one like that. But with NEDI, you have access to all of those things and even more. When you enroll for our platform, you have access to a one-on-one mentor. You'll be able to schedule a clarity call with your instructor at will. You will also join a support group where you can ask questions at any point in time. You will also be part of a weekly live class where you'll be learning and growing with other people. And guess what? You will also be paired with an accountability partner, somebody that you guys can learn and grow with and also build rapport as you advance in your career. And at the end of the career roadmap, you also get personalized portfolio review and job support. Don't forget to go on our platform and turn on your subscription. It's just a monthly token. That being said, don't forget to also subscribe on this particular YouTube channel so you'll be notified when we upload subsequent lessons, right? So without wasting much of our time, let's get into this particular video.
Alright, you welcome back to this video. In this video, we'll be talking about arrays, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is to come over here and create a new file. I'm just going to call it array.html, hit enter. Then the first thing is create our basic structure, exclamation mark, hit enter as well. Let's minimize this. Then we could just call it JavaScript array. Okay, let's give it that title there. So the next thing that we want to do actually is to try to ensure that that's what is showing here. So I will just / array.html. So that's it here. So I have it. Just to test it, let me type anything. Okay, that's the right file. So just in case you're wondering how I'm running it, I'm just running it using a live server. Right click, open with live server, and you have that. If you don't have the extension, go ahead, click on your extension menu here, search for live server. You see live server here, and just go ahead, click on it, go ahead and click on install. Why? I've already installed mine, that's why mine is showing me on install. Alright, so let's go back to our code. Now that we have it here, the first thing we want to treat is array. So I can create my JavaScript by creating the script tag. So with the script tag right now, I can write my JavaScript inside this particular script tag here. So I'll go ahead and save that too as well. So let's start to create an array. So technically speaking, what is an array? So let me drop a comment here. What is an array? Let's put it here. Okay, let's type it like this. Alright, what is an array? So this is what I always tell people. I always tell people that consider an array to be the plural form of what? A variable. Alright, this might not be the official definition of an array, but this is my own layman definition of an array, right? So I think you understand it better. So consider an array to be the plural form, I don't know how to spell English again, form of a variable. So what exactly is a variable? So in the previous video we learned what a variable is. We say name is equal to Samuel, for instance, and we could come over here and say console.log name, for instance, and save it. So let's see our console. I'll right click, I'll click on inspect elements, and I'll have it here. Let's take this thing forward. Go click on console, you see Samuel, right? So this is just a single form. So if I want to declare a variable, an array, sorry, I can say variable names is equal to this array bracket, right? So this array bracket over here. So we have like several array bracket. Then I can come in now, I can now say Samuel, I can now say Peter, I can now say Yusuf is a name. So on and so both of them are all variables, but this particular one is an array. So array allow us to store multiple data. For this particular one right now, we stored only Samuel in it, but right here we are storing more than one variable or more than one value in it, and that is why we call it an array. Now one of the things that you used to know an array is this particular array bracket. So just look for this particular bracket on your keyboard where you see it's close to where you see your curly braces, but it's not the curly braces bracket, we call it the array bracket. So we need your array values comes in it, right? So this value and this value and this value comes in it. So now that we have this, now let's display names. So let's type in console log names and save. If we do that, we are going to see the 3 names will appear right here in our console. If we go ahead and click here to see it, we see that we see 0 Samuel, 1 Peter, 2 Yusuf. So this simply means that for an array, each value that we store inside of an array has what we call the array position. Some people could call it index, right? So you could say you will call it array position or array index or index. So what's the index? What's the key? What's the position? Some folks too can also call it key. So you can even call it key too, or key, right? So you can call it key. So most of the time people call it array position or array index. So what is now an array index? So array index is this number that you're seeing here, 0, 1, 2. So basically it simply means that for us to access this each value, we need to know the array position or the array index, and it start counting from 0. So the first one now will be 0, this one will be 1, this one will be 2. So let's say now what we want to console is Yusuf. So let's say we have a little console.log here, so we could see it inside our browser, and we want to have something like let's type something like good day, right? Then the name. We'll now say names. Now we'll now use this array bracket again, and we'll now put in the array position in it. So if it is Samuel, it will be 0. So I will save it. So if I save it, then you're going to see good day Samuel. So what if it is good day Yusuf? I want to display, not Samuel. What should it be? Think about it. Alright, so let me tell you. So if this one is 0, Samuel is 0, Peter is 1, so Yusuf will be 2. So basically all you just need to do is to start counting it from 0, you will know the position. So Yusuf now is down 2 because this is 0, 1 and 2. So if I put in 2 here, it will be saying good day Yusuf, right? So what if we add a third value? In fact, let's add some more value. Let's add Emeka as a name, and let's also add Abdul as a name. So 5 names right now. So what should be the position of Abdul? So let's count. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means Abdul here is going to be 4. So let's try it and see if you're going to see good day Abdul. Oops, good day Abdul. So this is correct. So it simply means that we start counting our positioning from 0, right? So if you want to display a single name, you start counting from 0. So if you check it here as well, when you click it, you're going to see 0 is Samuel, 1 is Peter, 2 is Yusuf, 3 is Emeka, and 4 is Abdul. So and that is called the array positioning. So let us recap. What is an array? I said array allow us to hold like several values. It's like a variable that allows us to hold several values. And I'll not define it to you guys in the layman terms that array is like the plural form of a variable. So if a name is equal to Samuel, array can actually hold multiple names, right? So we also treated array position. So with array position, we can be able to bring out each of those values that the array is actually storing or holding. Now, that being said, let's take a look at some inbuilt JavaScript function that will allow us to manipulate our arrays, right? So this is what I want us to do. I want us to manipulate our array, right? Let us say array, let us call this one array functions. So for now, just call it array functions, right? So these array functions will allow us to manipulate array. So there are several types of array function I want us to treat. So I want us to treat the array function that will allow us to carry out this particular operation called our CRUD operation. So let me type it here. Let me say CRUD operation. Now, just in case this is your first time of learning JavaScript, right, and I see me using this double quote, you're wondering, Samuel, what is this double quote? I don't know why you put in this double quote. So this double quote stands for what we call commenting. So it simply means that if you don't want something to display or to run, but you want to just leave a note, so you can use comment to leave a note. So JavaScript commenting allows us to leave a note. For example, if I want to comment out this line, I can use a short cut in my keyboard on VS Code that is control or command /. So control on Windows or command on Mac / will just do the comment, or you can also comment it, or better still, you can just come to the front and add /. So when you add /, it comment that particular stuff, that particular code will not run. So that's what I'm using to drop this note inside this particular code. So just in case you're wondering, I said let me explain that. Now that I've explained that, so the next thing we want to do, let's start with our CRUD operation. So our CRUD operation basically stands for create, read, update, and delete. So basically, how do we add okay, let me just come over here, jump on that comment. Let me say functions to do what? To create. So how do we add new value? Or let me say create or add. So how do we add new value to an existing array? Let's say we already have names here, which is Samuel, Peter, Yusuf, Emeka, and Abdul. Let me say I want to add a third one, which would be Johnson. Right, another name here would be Johnson. Let's reduce this thing so it will not be too much. Okay, let's add Emeka now. So the initial one will be 3. So let's add another one that will be, let's add Emeka now after the Yusuf. So if I want to do this, I'll make use of an array, a JavaScript function that is called push. So all I just need to do is to say the name of the array, which is names.push. So push, and JavaScript function always have this bracket. So push, so anything I want to add into that array, I'll put it inside this particular bracket. So now let's say I want to add Yusuf. So I will save it now. So if I come over here and console.log names again, let's see what we have. So this is the initial one, Samuel, Peter, Yusuf. After I did push, we could say Samuel, Peter, Yusuf. Okay, Yusuf again. Let me change it. Let me say Emeka. I'll save it now. So we can now see that the fourth one and is now Emeka. So this line 25 here, allow us to add a new value. Now, what if we want to add the value at the beginning, not at the end? So push allow us to add it at the end. So let's say we want to add a value at the beginning. So instead of Emeka now, let's say let's use that Johnson. I've been on my lips. So Johnson. Now we will not want push again because push will still add it at the end, but this time around we want it to add it at the beginning. So what we'll use on shifts. So we'll say on shifts. You see it, right? So let's see it now. So on shifts now does the same thing as push. The difference is that push adds that new value to the end, while on shift adds the new value at the beginning. So we'll now have Johnson, Samuel, Peter, Yusuf, Emeka. Johnson, Samuel, Peter, Yusuf, Emeka. So Johnson is starting from the beginning, right? So that is how you add a new value, right? Either at the beginning of the array or at the ending of that particular array. So we've done adding. Let's do the next one. So under our CRUD operation for the array, the next one I want to do is reading. Okay, I think we've done read already. So for the read part, it's very simple. In other words, how do you display a certain value in an array, which I think we've already done that. So where did we do it? This is where we did it, right? This is where we did it. So let me just cut this one here and come here and say read. So for you to read an array, you make use of the array position. So this is how you basically read up an array. So there is no new thing there. Good day, Emeka. If we want to display any value like the second one, we see if we want to display Johnson, and Johnson will be 0. So basically that is how you read the information that is inside of an array. So there is no new function that you can use for that. So once we've done that, let's do update. So how do we update an existing value in an array? So let's say now we want to change Samuel from being Samuel to, let's say, Simon, right? So we'll use the position and we'll give it a new value. So all we need to do now is to say names, then what is the position of Samuel? Samuel, this is 0, this is 2. So this is 0, this is 1. Sorry, so Samuel is 1. So I'll now say 1. Then I'll now say equal to, so instead of 1 to be Samuel, I want 1 now to be what? Simon. So once I have this now, I can come down here and say console.log names. Now let's see. So after this now we realize that the second one now here, the second one which is 1 is Simon, right? So we could see that here the second one here is Samuel, while here the second one here is Simon. So we could actually see the changes, and that is because of this value, this thing that we added here, right? So we can use this to update the existing value of an array, just an equal sign, and that is it. So we've done the U stands for update, we've done that. The D now stands for delete. So let's try that. So how do we delete an array? So we have several ways we could actually delete a value from an array. So so let's try. So one of the ways that you could actually delete a value from an array is using pops. So let's try it now. So if we say names dot pop, all right, I will come over here and console dot log names again. So this is what we get. So this first one is 5, this second one now. So this first one is this one here, line 32. Why this one is line 36? So line 36 now we are having for what happened, one thing have been deleted. So what pop does is that it deletes the last value. Let me just drop a comment here. Say this deletes the last value inside the array. So that's what pop does. So you could see the last value here is a maker, so pop will just remove it. Then what about, let's try another one now. Let's do names dot let's delete the first value, names dot shifts, right? So let's come underneath it now and do console dot log names and save. So this shows us, so the first value here is Johnson, so it's no longer there. So now what you are seeing now is now Simon, Peter, and Yusuf. So this actually is the opposite of pop. Shift is the opposite of pop. Shift deletes the first value, so this deletes the first value. You see, it's very simple. So shift deletes the first value. So now that we've seen the difference between shift and pop, now there's another way we could still delete something, and that is using the keyword delete. So you can basically just use the keyword delete and say delete something. So the problem with the keyword now, if we say delete, we'll now say names. Of course, we'll specify the index or the array position that we want to delete. In this case, let us delete the first one. So if we do this, let me bring it to this point here. So if we do this and console.log and names again, so what this does that it deletes the array position that we specify. For example, now you could see line 40 is deleting Simon, so Simon becomes empty, but it is not good to use the delete keyword to actually delete an array, because it makes that particular area now empty. So if I change this from 1, you will see now that Peter will be the one that will be empty, right? So we necessarily don't use this one to delete an array, because if you use that, it's going to leave holes. So this leaves hole, not advisable. Let me type it here, not recommended, right? Because it leaves holes and can cause errors. All right, so it leaves holes and can cause errors, so it's not advisable you use that particular delete to actually delete an array. So what else again can someone use? So let's take a look at it. So the next thing again that we could do, let's say we want to delete a specific array just like this, but we don't want it to leave holes. In fact, let me even comment this one totally. We don't want it to leave holes. How can we do that? So this is where we use a particular kind of array called splice. So let's see, if we say now, we say names dot splice. So splice starts from the initial value, so let's say 0, then comma, then how many values do you want to delete after the initial value? Let's say 1. So let's save this now and see. So you could see now, because of we did line 40 0, it simply means start from 0, position 0, and delete just 1. So because of that, only Simon is deleted. So if it is Peter that wants to delete, we'll say what's the position of Peter? Position of Peter is 0 1. So start from position 1 and delete just 1. So we are expecting Peter should be the one that will go off right now. So, and it is perfect because it's make them have a new position, and it does not leave holes. So it is better you use splice to delete than to actually use the delete keyword to actually delete, because the delete keyword is going to do what? Is going to leave holes. So now, that being said, the next thing so we've completed the cut functionality, right? So before I wrap up this video, let's take a look at some utility arrays, so some utility functions, right? And array functions. So let's see utility. So other array functions, utility, or let me just say utility function. Let me say other array functions. So apart from this one that can help you perform this for CRUD operation on any array, which includes creating a new array, updating an array, reading an array, updating an array, and deleting an array, other functions that you can use as well in an array. So let's take a look at some utility functions. So another utility function that you could use, let me copy this. Oops. Let me copy this, come here and paste it. So another utility function we could use is the dot length function. So what the length function, it counts the number of values in an array and return it. For example, you could see this. So now it's counting the number of value in Simon, so 0 1. So that means the number of value in this particular array is 2. So it will just return the number of values in that particular array. In this case, it is 2. So if it is more than 2, it will definitely return that it is more than 2. Now, okay, let's take a look at another one. So another one again is the array.toString. So what does the array.toString does? So the array.toString basically just converts our array into string. You could see that there, so which is cool. So instead of us now having it like an array, we are having it like a text, right? So let's take a look at another one. So another one that we have is the array.join. So the array.join works like the array.toString, but in this case, we can separate it with something. For example, let me say join. So let's do something. Here. Let's create a new array. Let's do, music genre or movie genre. So let's say genre. Let's say we have action. We have what else again? We have action. We have romance. We have is it adventure? So those movie categories. Now we could choose to join it here and say console log join. Let's join this gen that we just created, this new array now. Join, and let's do something like this now. You see how it will display. So now it will display the array by ensure that after each one is going to bring this stuff at their middle and is going to join them together. So with this now we can now say we can now concatenate it and do something like this. Let's concatenate it and now say movie. Let's do something like this. Alright, let's add a colon here so it makes sense now. So we can now say movie. Oh, look at me. So I made a mistake. Oh, this door is not supposed to be here because it's going to be part of the whole thing. This is where I'm supposed to put it. So I can now have movie genre, action, romance, adventure. Right, so we could actually have it like that. So that what genre join actually allow us to do. So another thing again that we could also see is concate. So concate what works pretty much like join, but what concate does to us is that concate will allow us to merge two different arrays together. So other things we could do is to use the concate, right? So for example, now let's say variable. Oops, I saw myself using constant here. I got carried away. So you could actually use constant to declare an array too, but let me just change it back to variable, not for us not to confuse us. Don't worry, when we get to variable scope, we're going to learn other variable scope like let and const. But let's try to maintain var for now, so I will not be confused. So let's say variable, let me say other names is equal to, let me do something like, let me say Sharon. Just 2 is okay. Sharon and what should I put next now? Let me put Ali. Alright, that's cool. So now we could use concate. We can say console dot log. Let's say names dot concate other names. So what this concate does for us is that it allows us to merge two arrays together. So if we see it now, you could see now names on its own has Simon, the last time that we console log name at line 41. So this is the last time that we'll actually touch name, line 41. It just includes just Simon and Yusuf. One will now say that we should concate it with other names, Sharon and Ali. Guess what we now have? We now have what? Simon, Yusuf, Sharon, and Ali. So what concate does is that it brings two or more arrays together and actually merge it together. So you could have like more than one array that you can concatenate together. So these are some of the popular array manipulation functions that you will see out there. So I hope that you understand this and basically just play with it, right? So we'll proceed in our next video. We'll be learning some of the other core ABCDs of JavaScript. Now don't forget to let me know if you have questions, and also don't forget to subscribe on the channel so you'll not miss out on subsequent uploads. And last but not the least, don't forget to check nerdy.com so you can subscribe on any of our bootcamps so you can get mentored, join our community, and also get job supports and job referrals too as well. So see you guys, and I wish you happy coding.